Welcome to the Resilience series. I'm Stephanie Weaver, author of the Migraine Relief Plan Cookbook, which is coming out next summer and is available for pre-order now and has the theme of resilience. My guest today is Jan Mundo. Jan is the author and illustrator of the Headache Healer's Handbook. She's a certified master somatic coach, body-centered therapist, and bodyworker trained in multiple healing modalities. Welcome, Jan.
Thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. It's wonderful to be here to talk with you.
I'm excited about our conversation. So first of all, tell us your experience with migraine and how it changed over time, because I know you had some changes over time with perimenopause, et
I
cetera.
was in my early 40s. I started going through perimenopause, which I didn't realize I was even going through, but would wake up with night sweats and in puddles of water and have hot flashes and just mood swings. And I didn't really, and changes in my period, but at that time, there wasn't a lot of information about perimenopause or women's bodies that where we knew how to clue in. It makes it sound like I'm ancient, but it wasn't that long ago. As I was going through perimenopause, I realized that I could time my periods by when I would get the premenstrual migraine. And it was really intense. A day, usually a day, maybe sometimes 2 days before my period would begin. And so I began being really curious about that, because in the months that I was eating better, drinking more water, getting a little exercise, breathing, meditating, just calmer with less stress, sleeping better, then I wouldn't get that premenstrual migraine during perimenopause. I put that together in a program and became a certified massage therapist. I became a magnet for people who had them. So wherever I was, somebody who was working at the Gap, and I took them in the back of the dressing room, in one of the dressing rooms, and worked on them. So in 5 minutes, usually 5-10 minutes at the most, I was able to stop their pain, and they would be amazed, and their face would brighten up, and it seemed to reverse their other symptoms as well, because it wasn't just the pain. They would have more energy. They would feel hungry if they hadn't been hungry, or want to rest if they had not been resting, or full of energy if they things would seem to reverse.
That's great.
Light and sound sensitivity as well.
So that led you to become what you call a headache coach. And what kind of training did you get for that? And what is it for people who aren't familiar with that term?
So I made it up.
Okay, there you go. Fair enough.
So after I became a certified massage therapist, I did that because I did a lot of consulting. The word got around, and I noticed that when I had people on the massage table and was working with their pain, not only on their head, but over their body, and certain either trigger point areas or places that were tight and painful for them, that their emotional history, their content, and they would come up and they would have an emotional release. So when I was looking into, well, how can I support them? What kind of continuing education can I take? My research led me into the field of somatics, which is body, mind, emotions, spirit, and it's body as self work. So it's different than it's part meditation and movement, and in the particular branch that I do, some martial arts practices based in Aikido, relational practices, but how you live in your body and how you're shaped by your experience. I began to see that we're all shaped by our experience, and some of it is traumatic and some of it is just socialization, but we all learn to hold ourselves in ways that we might not have been aware that we're doing, because we learned it in our families, we learned our reactions, and that shapes our thinking and how we deal with stress and pleasure and pain and life in general. So put it all together in this program that was also helping me, but that coaching aspect and seeing how we're shaped so that even people's language, when they're describing their pain, and how they're listened to when their pain is heard, or their story around their pain or what created it, that's all really important. As a coach, I really wanted to help empower people to be able to take care of their own pain. And be able to do the self-care practices that I saw help me and that I saw were helping my initial clients. And so I put it into a program and started teaching at medical centers. Just people were able to get better. Part of it is shifting how you look at your pain and your attitude towards it, and to have, it really has a lot to do with resilience. So, and when I say attitude toward pain, it's like having that fight in your body, having that, I am going to beat this, but not letting it get the best of you at the same time. So it's like you're wearing, especially in self-care, you're wearing two hats. You're the practitioner and you're the client. And so being a coach, I'm teaching people really how to be their own headache coaches.
So then that was the genesis for the book, so that because you can only, work with so many people personally, and you can only teach so many people. So putting a book out there to help people, show them your method and go through all that makes perfect sense, and is a great, boon to people who might be interested if they're watching. So you mentioned resilience. So let's talk about resilience. How do you define resilience, and how do you see resilience playing into your work as a coach and your own work personally?
I just don't give up. I think, isn't that what resilience is? That you just, for me, I just keep coming back at something. So if one door closes, I go to another door. I find another way through. I find a way around. I walk down another street. I pay attention to my body as far as my own practices. So whatever it is that helps get me in my body, because I can be really heady. So those things can be changing and those are, or have a rotating armamentarium of whatever that word is of practices that I use. So meditation and some of the Aikido-based practices, movement practices for grounding, centering and grounding practices, taking a walk in nature, staying fed and watered, gentle movement, sleep, posture, all those things, but really just not giving up and finding another way. And so those are all ways, if I can get into my body and listen to my body, those are whatever will help get me into it at the time. And not only my body, but really my intuition. My intuition is what really guides me from whether to go through the door, around, find another way. So all the practices that I mentioned can help me tune into my intuition, and my intuition can give me a clue on what practice might be good at the time.
Great. Thank you. Well, that's normally my last question is, what are some of your self-care resilience strategies, which you just answered. So do you want to lead us through a very short getting into our bodies, centering kind of meditation? If that's something that you would like to do, that would be great.
Yeah. So that's exciting. So I realized that I did forget one major piece of everything that I've been talking about that I think is really important for headaches and migraines. So and people who suffer from them, and something that is really often neglected. So some of these other practices that I mentioned are starting to come into the fore of how to work with yourself. But what's really neglected and so important, and really what got me into everything, is the power of your own touch. So we have these biosensors, and we are bio-neurochemical electro beings. And we often people that I've worked with, including myself, we often walk around with shoulders that are so tight, and neck and head and face, and that we can actually apply our touch to our shoulders, our neck, our head, and our face and loosen it. And that will make a huge difference in your migraines. And breathing and posture is the beginning of that, because if your breath is lower, not necessarily deeper, but in your belly, and your legs are, we're doing the practice now, and your legs are, feet are about hip distance apart. And your knees are open, so there's a direct line between your hips, your knees, and your feet, and letting your weight drop down into your feet, and then aligning your ear, your shoulder, and your hips so that they're vertical. Then your weight can drop all the way from your thinking self into your breathing, and then into your hips, your power center, and then down into your feet and into the ground that is supporting us. So that's the way actually I start all the body work and the head work that I do, which I do sitting in a chair when I'm working on people, so that I can get to their whole head on both sides and balance it. But these biosensors that we have, we can, now that we're aligned and weights drop down, we can do just a little shoulder squeeze. But I find that if people do this regularly on a rotating basis, that they can just ease out so much of the stress of tension and just have a more pleasant experience, and that the buildup won't be one of the many contributing factors that can create their migraine. So do you want to do a little bit of that? Do we have time?
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
So first, let's warm up our hands. So press them together and make some friction. And then can you feel the heat? Okay. And then just lay your palms open on your thighs, face up. And just put your mind down from the head through the shoulders, chest, into the belly, and then through your arms and into your hands. When you feel some kind of pressure or heat or tingling, just keep putting your attention into your hands. And then take your right arm, doesn't really matter which one, but just for sake of everybody being on the same page, and bring it up to your left shoulder. And then feel your fingers on the back of your upper back, and your right here, your palm on the ridge. And then we're going to squeeze, and your thumb is just neutral. Can you see? And then we're just going to squeeze between the heel of our hand and our fingers. So like this. And then take a breath in when you squeeze and pinch them together. And then pull slightly upward. And just breathe and hold. You can just close your eyes and feel, and let that shoulder that you're working on drop. And just breathe. Then your tongue rests on the roof of your mouth, your teeth slightly part. And then that same ridge, you can just do a little squeeze and release. It's the same move between heel of the hand and the fingers. And then just squeeze and release toward the neck and out toward the shoulder, back and forth. Squeeze, release. So it's more now we're smushing the tissue, very technical term. And you can switch to more pressure on the back, on that scapular ridge, or on the top, on the shoulder ridge. And then if your arm is starting to get a little tired that you just worked on, then you can shake it out. And that looks like this. So you extend your fingers, let me see, extend your fingers, and then kind of flick it off, like, oh, get that off of me, into the ground. And then does your arm feel a little less tired?
Yes.
Okay. So you always want to make it even. Do we have time to do the other side?
Sure.
Okay. And then there are more detailed moves. So what do you notice after you do it? So that's a really big part of working on yourself, is to see the before and after, because then you have a better chance of getting there to that more relaxed state. So if you were to listen in to take stock of your shoulder that you just worked on, And then, which would be your left, or right, if that was the one you worked on, and then comparing it to the other shoulder it didn't work on, when you noticed.
Well, it feels looser and it feels a little bit warmer.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was what, a minute at most. So a lot of these techniques I developed over time, really when I was in a lot of pain lying in bed. And I have worked on myself at times for hours, like shoulders, neck, head, and face, sometimes the whole thing, sometimes just getting in. I have techniques for all of that, getting in deeper. So let's work on the other shoulder. So bring your left arm to your right shoulder. And then breathing. And also when you're working on it, let the arm the shoulder that you're using, the working shoulder, to be dropped. So see if you can drop that and just let your elbow rest on your chest. That's right. And so squeeze and hold. And then you can release your grip and go a little towards the shoulder blade. I mean, the shoulder arm. And then a little closer. If you can feel that, usually people have a knot. It's such a great spot, I have to say it, on the levator scapula. It's that pointy feeling. It's the medial or inner, closest to the center part of your scapula, which is called the angel's wing in common terms often. So that often has a knot on it, or is tender, because it attaches, those muscles attach there and then to your neck. So all this a lot of times lives there. So anyway, so then we do the squeeze release and then shake it out. So I know we just did a little on that. What do you notice on both now?
Oh, they feel more balanced. I feel more relaxed, less tension for sure. And so those of you watching, so all of these techniques are not only described, but also illustrated in Jan's book, The Headache Healer's Handbook. So we gave you just a little taste here. And Jan, I want to thank you so much for being here today and sharing your story and your unique skill set, because it's not anything I've seen anywhere else. So that's why I really wanted to feature her on the series. Please visit theheadachecoach.com to learn more about her work, and you can purchase the Headache Healer's Handbook wherever books are sold. Check out other episodes of the Resilient series on Facebook Watch, Instagram, and YouTube. Follow me at SWeaverMPH to learn more about my upcoming book, The Migraine Relief Plan Cookbook, which, as I mentioned, is available for pre-order now, which is due out next summer 2022 from Surrey Books. Thanks so much for watching.